So it's been in the news, effective October the 1st, that Comcast is going to be capping the broadband service to 250 gigabytes per customer. Now, apparently the way this is going to work, if your household goes over that 250 gigabytes, that's up and down, both, you'll get one courtesy call from Comcast to let you know, look, you're going over your allocated usage. And if you do it again, the second strike, you're off the service for 1 year. And this has been causing a real firestorm out on the web with a lot of bloggers and pundits, and they're all kind of arguing back and forth. You know, one says the sky is falling, another one says, no, the sky is not really falling. And so I just wanted to talk about that a little bit. I'm on a business class internet account here, and Comcast offers one for, they're like under $100. There is not going to be, to the best of my knowledge, any kind of a bandwidth cap on a commercial account anyway. But certainly in the small home office, when we're talking that, you may not have a need necessarily for a business class internet account. Because when we say that, we're talking about things like the ability to host your own servers, your own email as well. So that's a business class internet account. But here's the thing. Comcast is providing the infrastructure. There's a lot of new technologies really ramping up, and people like Netflix are delivering video on demand over the internet. Of course, iTunes. We're just now starting to see the delivery of high-def television with services like Hulu. By the way, great website if you ever get a chance. I love Hulu. Take a look. It's Hulu. You can catch shows like the Simpsons, The Office, all that, and some of them even in high definition right now. You know, I think for most people, a 250 gigabyte a month thing right now today is probably fair. But if you've got a busy household, lots of computers, you know, you got students and they're doing their thing on YouTube and their music and they're looking at videos and all that, yeah, potentially it's real possible to use up that 250 gigabyte limit. I think my take on it is all this. I think that we probably are looking pretty much at the end of all-you-can-eat internet for a very, very low price. Companies like Comcast, Mediacom, and some of the other Time Warner, some of the other big companies, they are providing an infrastructure that certainly is not free to them, and they do have a rather large investment in it. Now, that being said, there's also a case to be made that these new technologies are developing the reason why people would want to subscribe to these services. So they both really need each other. You know, it's kind of like back in the days of the VCR. Well, there's no movies out there, but well, that's because nobody owns the machine. So, you know, in a leap of faith, Hollywood started putting movies out on tape, and that's what sold a lot of VCRs. And there's no doubt about all these new technologies are going to demand higher bandwidth and you know, more scalable infrastructure. So I think it behooves the large ISPs to reconsider some of this and certainly keep an eye on it. For us, we use a business class ISP, but I think that even with us, unless companies like Comcast are willing to make the investment in their infrastructure, their product, if you will, to make it better, then there's going to be some real problems. And then, yeah, we are going to be looking at metered bandwidth, and that's not going to go over too well, I think, with a lot of people. You know, that there's demand being generated out there by content providers. They're in the infrastructure business to provide the content and throttling back usage rather than investing in making sure that they have the expanded capacity that their customers want. And I find it kind of odd that, you know, the selling points for Comcast high-speed internet is to get your movies and videos and all this sort of stuff fast. And now we're saying, well, yes, but you can only have so much. And, you know, there's some arguments mathematically that you have to download hundreds of movies a month and millions of emails and all that. And you know, probably for most people, you know, 250 gigabytes a month is probably more than adequate for what they do, but it's what's coming down the road. That's going to be high definition movies, more and more video, more and more music, more and more digital stuff happening in your life. And, you know, these caps are going to suddenly become probably not a good way of doing business for companies like Comcast, Time Warner, Roadrunner, all these companies. So they really need to look, I think, in investing in the infrastructure. And, you know, hey, I believe that maybe we'll end up with a tiered pricing system. But something's got to give. It can't be just letting the current infrastructure sit there and we just start scaling everybody back. And no, I don't believe the sky is falling.